Hello there. You are about to hear Eric Belrose and Jason Lemoy attempt to entertain you while we figure out why do we watch this.
Lubricating the human.
I started recording right when you said that. Unintentionally. Oh, god damn. Hey.
Oh, okay. Now that's an intro.
Oh, cocksucker. I guess so.
And we're back again
Yes, that we are.
with this week's prescient
Yes, I would call
episode,
it. I would call it such.
Unstoppable.
About an unstoppable train of doom.
Dun, dun, dun. Came out in November 12th, 2010. Well, I was figuring I'd get a little monologuing out here first with my experience on set the other day.
Even Rocky had a monologue. I got
You're a bum, Rocky!
Anyway, go ahead.
So the other day I got to be an extra in Billions. He shacked me up in a nice hotel for 2 nights. It was fun. I got to, I used the hotel gym there. That was fucking awesome because nobody was there and I was just jamming out. And then, so I had to stay up late because call times were supposed to be set at 12:30. And I'm thinking, oh fuck, the last time this happened, it was call time set at 12:30 and then I had to be in at like 4:30. So I was like, I was all ready for that. And then it gets close to 11. Oh, call times are going to be set at 6:30. I'm like, what? So then I had to wake up early again.
Go figure.
And then the call time wasn't until like 1. So that's why we went really late. What? Yeah, I thought you were going to say something.
When you said they're really late, all I could think of was Frau Farbissenau in the first Austin Powers movie when she walks up to Dr. Evil and she's like, I'm late.
No, you're perfectly punctual.
No. Oh, God.
So, yeah, it was, they rushed us basically like straight to set. The people actually liked my look again. You know, I've done 3 shows and 2 out of the 3 shows I've played a millionaire.
Oh. Well,
And-
this one, wouldn't it be a billionaire? Oh, fuck you.
So that is definitely me acting.
Acting!
I'm lower middle class.
Fucking
So
A.
that's why I have my delusions of grandeur, and that's why I like to see famous people.
Ooh, I am very super famous, bitch! No, it's bitch, not what.
I showed Carrie those videos the other day. She had never seen them.
Oh, man.
Well, I ended up getting to see Paul Giamatti, Jeffrey DeMunn, and Corey Stoll. And then there was another black actor, like, I thought I recognized him. I could have sworn for, like, sure. It was the other guy in Psych.
Oh, the Gus?
Yeah, he looked exactly the same, but then I looked his IMDb up in between, like, scenes or whatever.
His actual name's Dooley Hill.
But the guy who was on set, apparently he's been in, like, nothing I've seen.
Oh.
At least not as an actor.
I hate that, because you always see, like, some actor, and you're like, watching, like, holy shit, I know them from whatever, and you're looking them up, and they're like,
No,
this is not who I was thinking it was.
End. I
It's
was
like,
wrong.
Fucking, when Jay and I went and saw...
Fact checked, false.
when we went and saw Top Gun, Maverick, the guy that plays Goose's son, like the whole movie, I'm sitting there like, who the fuck is he? I know him from something, and I'm racking my brain because I could picture him in this fucking thing, and I get home and like I'm driving home the whole time I'm sitting there trying to figure it out, and then I'm like,
Eric obsess over something? Never.
yeah, I know, right? Like it had something to do with. I remember it was an older, like it took place like in an older time, like in the 30s or 40s, and blah 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 blah. blah. And I'm going through and like I'm sitting there like rolling
Racking that
every
brain.
single fucking movie I can, and then all of a sudden it hits me, and I'm like, wait, that can't be him. So I looked it up, and yeah, I was thinking of the guy that played Glenn Odenkirk in The Aviator. No, it wasn't him.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
In the end, Eric was wrong.
And in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Got so close.
I tried so hard. Got so far.
Got so hard.
Speaking of that song, did you ever see the there was somebody that was doing movie quote songs. So basically, like, they'd take a song, like, for instance,
using quotes from a movie.
yes,
and putting
it was
into
literally
a
just like
songify.
one word from each, and then he would have like the music playing, and then each, they did in the end, and I did the for all this, there's only one thing you should know. The no part of it. The first time they did it, it was Kurt Russell screaming no in Tombstone. And I think the second time they did it, it was Luke screaming no after he gets told that Darth Vader's his fun. Yeah.
Oh god, that's a classic now.
Yeah. And then in the end, it was always it was Gary Sinise from Green Mile when he's sitting there on the porch talking to Tom Hanks's character.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I could have probably talked to Corey Stoll if I wanted, but I don't really know him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
well, obviously you don't really know him.
Like, I don't know anything about his acting, other than like, oh, he's kind of, he stands out. Because I'm just sitting there wandering around, and they have the stand-ins in, so I'm like, whatever, the actors will be here like a little later or something. And I'm like looking down, all of a sudden it's like, boom! I think he's like 6'4", and it's like, hey, I know you.
Hey, George Milken Jr., what are you, 6'100"?
And then they had a stand, at one point they had like just one of the workers as a stand-in in a doorway. And they were complaining because he wasn't nearly as tall as Corey Stoll or whatever. And I said, I feel you, bro. I'm also vertically challenged. And he came over and gave me a pound on that.
But he didn't actually feel... But you didn't actually feel him. I got nothing.
What the fuck?
You're like, I feel you, bro, but you didn't actually feel him.
Okay, taking things literally, huh?
And then he came over and he gave you a pound. Lock it down. Break the pickle. Tickle, tickle.
Oh, and then there was this one guy, one of the workers, he really reminded me of Jason, was it Melanakis or whatever, the Rafi?
Oh, Matsuzakis?
Yeah, I can never remember his last name.
I've never actually heard his name pronounced.
Well, this guy looked like a lot like him, and he was like one of the cool workers down there.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, he's walking by, and he's like going to hand people some hand warmers. He's like, hey, want a hand warmer? I'm like, nah, I'm good. And he goes, signed by Paul Giamatti. And I'm like, ooh, now if it's signed by PG, that's a different story. And he's like, he laughs, and he goes, yeah, PG.
He is most definitely not PG.
He was just kind of like hiding in a corner the whole time.
So basically me.
Yeah. Yeah, I only saw him like when they were filming the scenes. And he barely had any lines. But he was just sitting there next to Jeffrey DeMunn. And I was like, man, Jeffrey DeMunn, like, all I can think of is all the Stephen King things.
Yeah, basically.
Honestly,
Honestly,
Darabont and put him in everything.
Honestly, I can't, with the exception of The Walking Dead, I literally cannot think of another movie I've seen him in. I know I've seen him in other stuff, but everything that I can think of him from is a Stephen King story.
Yeah. And he's such a good character actor. No,
oh, yeah.
He was in The X-Files, wasn't he?
No.
No?
Not that I remember.
I thought he was at the beginning. Wasn't he one of the scientists?
In what, in the show or in the movie? Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was the one that got eaten by the fucking creature after he went down in the thing. You're right. Yes. Yes. It's one of those things though, like I can't think of it just because his Stephen King movies are so like
what? Shawshank, Green
Mile. He was in fucking shit. What was
The
it?
Mist.
The Mist. That was the one that I was just trying to think of.
And he was good while he was on The Walking Dead too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I've never seen him in anything where it's not. He just wasn't an enjoyable character.
But if I ran into fucking Giamatti and he started chatting me up, like, the first movie that comes to mind for me is Shoot 'Em Up.
See, for me, it's Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, and then I was thinking about that. If I was to talk to him about that, I'd be like, you know, you fit in that, like, kind of, like, guest starring role in that movie a lot better than Ted Danson.
Yeah, that was a very weird cameo.
It's just Ted Danson's forehead for some reason in that movie.
Even Dennis Farina was a little strange to see in there. Like, he worked, but it was like, I don't know, it was just a little weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But Ted Danson was definitely like the weirdest cameo in that.
Yeah, he just stood out to me.
Kind of like how everybody everybody mentions Jimmy Fallon's cameo in Band of Brothers. Like, everybody just constantly shits on that.
His cameo in Almost Famous was the worst.
No, it was actually pretty good. I liked his cameo in Almost Famous because of the character that he played.
I mean, he was just, playing like a dickhead version of himself.
It was basically like playing just like the fucking weird company A&R man. Like, yeah, like, no, he was. I enjoyed him in that. But I do agree that his cameo in Band of Brothers was a little
forced,
a little weird. Like, yeah. But anyway.
So overall, I was like, basically we got on the bus at like 1:00, but they did like get on the bus, get off the bus, get on the bus. It's always such a, like, I called it semi-controlled chaos when it comes to like the extras.
And then you were like, "Fuck you." Let Evel Knievel get on the bus. I'm getting in the bus. Seems like it would be warmer in there.
So I ended up, it was like 14 hours essentially for like 2 scenes. And like, that was, it might end up being like 2-3 minutes of screen time. So, and I might get some FaceTime. We'll see.
Oh, FaceTime. Who are you going to FaceTime with?
All the people that
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, PG, come here. Oh my God, PG, I love your work. He isn't tall.
Oh, fuck.
I was walking through the bus and I looked over and I saw this one bug-eyed looking guy and I'm like, you're the stand-in for Paul, aren't you? I was thinking.
No, Steve Buscemi, actually. You completely missed him. You actually could have talked to Steve Buscemi. He was just riding the bus like a normal person. I could see him doing that, though. I mean, he's fucking awesome. He's like
a down-to-earth guy.
Very.
So that was my experience on set. So overall it was fun, but very tiring. I ended up calling out to work on Friday because I didn't get back to the hotel till 3:30. and I'm all worried about getting up in time, and I'm like, yeah, it comes to be 5:30. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I still probably wasn't even safe to drive home after all that.
Probably.
Yeah, whatever. I like to live dangerously. Alright. I digress. Back to the movie.
Okay, so this is 2010's Unstoppable.
It's a Tony Scott movie.
Yep, it's actually his last movie, apparently, before he died.
Well, I'd say this is one of his better movies.
It was good. I hadn't been interested in seeing it for the longest time. Like, I remember, like, when it came out and stuff, I didn't want to see it. It was one of those things that didn't interest me just because it was...
I think it felt like Bay was like new when this came out. It
felt like a stupid idea, like, for a movie to me, and I don't even remember seeing any of the previews or any of that shit. I just didn't want to see it. So yeah, I didn't watch it until now.
But like I said, this was when like I could start pirating movies like around that era. So I was just downloading everything. Yeah. And this was a drunk watch, and I just fell in love with it.
See, I downloaded a lot of porn at that time.
Oh. Priorities, huh?
See, you used Pirate Bay for movies. I used Pirate Bay for porn. We are not the same.
Well, currently that's the only thing I use it for. I don't use it for movies anymore.
Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, but watching it now, yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
I'd give it I'd give it maybe I'd give it like a 3.5 5, maybe. Not even. I'd give it like a 3.3 on 5 stars.
I call this like a very good movie, like where it's not, anything better than this gets into like the great category. Anything lesser than this is just kind of okay.
I would put this as in a solid, slightly upper echelon average for me.
It's a solid movie.
Yeah.
It has an IMDb of 6.8, Meta 69, but a tomato of 87.
That's odd.
Because that's got more of like, I don't know who reviews more on.
And that's the thing because I know
tomatoes.
like the tomato meter. I remember, so Ghostbusters 3 when that came out, the tomato meter was like 19.
Yeah.
And the audience was like 94.
Yeah.
And the reason is because all of the fucking reviewers were shitting on it because they only made this because they had the 2016 Ghostbusters and it was all girls and they don't want that. No. That's not why they made this.
We just always wanted a sequel.
We wanted a fucking sequel. We wanted a legitimate sequel. And the 2016 movie, I'm sorry, but it was fucking garbage. Like, I will say, Kristen Wiig is fucking hilarious. Kate McKinnon is fucking hilarious.
All good on their own, but when they're all trying to be the funniest person in the movie, it doesn't work.
And they would be good together if the writing was there.
Yeah.
The writing was not there. That's the biggest problem with that movie. Part 2 of it is the fucking CGI was horrendous. It looked like a fucking cartoon. But
I'd rather watch the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Hey, fuck you, man. Real Ghostbusters were great.
I tried to rewatch some of those old episodes, and it's so slow and
But I just like that was the thing that always irritated me with that argument was the fucking writing was not there. It was completely phoned in. And
it was terrible.
Like you had that stupid wonton joke that kept going through
God.
like it wasn't funny the first time. Stop trying to continue to make it funny because it isn't
a bad SNL bit.
It wasn't even a bad SNL bit. There was like a fucking that was like an SNL bit that they said no, we're not going to do this, and they never put it on.
All right, so back to this movie.
Yes.
This was actually Oscar nominated.
Really? For what?
The roars.
Seriously, for audio
sound editing.
Okay.
So I love the roars, and that was like a last minute addition to the video I was making.
Yeah.
I was like with train translator. Roar, get the fuck off. This actually has a link to a previous episode. They reused a shot from Gone in 60 Seconds.
I know, I was gonna say that, and I noticed it too because I'm watching. I'm like, that's not a speedometer for a fucking Dodge Ram. That's for a '67 Mustang.
So that was a fun little
little
linkage.
Yes, it was.
So the tags on this were kind of number based.
Unsurprising.
1 million tons, 100,000 lives, 100 minutes. Okay, somebody likes numbers.
And the numbers, Mason.
1 million tons of steel, 100,000 lives at stake, 100 minutes to impact. I'm like, okay. Well, I like how this movie, it has a fairly brisk pace.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I really loved, I noticed it like on this last watch, was how the camera's always moving. Mm-hmm. So you get that sense of like things are going fast.
Yeah. Even in the times when they are not in fact going fast.
Yes. Oh my
and
God.
I'll call some of those out.
They're supposed to be doing 70 miles an hour right now, and I'm looking. I'm like,
I'll
30 tops.
I'll call some of those out when I get to it.
I call bullshit. And then of course, I'll get to it. Fuck it.
Okay.
The reviews: 1 out of 10. Blatant plagiarism. Apparently, there was a movie called Die Lock that was very similar, like premise and everything back in the day. Oh, this is just blatant plagiarism.
it was literally based on an actual event.
Kind of.
Well, a lot
Inspired
of it
by.
well, and a lot of it was like it isn't like a lot of inspired by movies where like the entire premise is, you know, okay, so somebody farted, let's just say that's the real life event, and it turns into fucking somebody shit their pants and caused the fucking Black Death. Like that's
I was thinking some sort of butterfly effect, you know.
Yeah.
You know, some asshole, you know, claps his fucking ass cheeks in New York City and causes a hurricane in
but
Southern
I mean,
Asia.
like there, like a lot of the inspired by actual events movies are, I mean, so much less.
Well, this
real.
Okay, we have a very current one that we can draw a parallel to. Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
Inspired by real events.
Yes.
That's how much this was inspired by. Although the guy did jump from a moving truck or whatever onto the train to stop it.
Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, how that was inspired by real events, and it was literally just because Ed Gein had dug up some bodies and made like suits out of them.
Yeah, we're just gonna come up with a complete narrative for this, and it's inspired by it.
Yeah.
I like this review though. Total and utter cheesy American shit. Yeah, but I like this American shit.
Is it Velveeta or Kraft?
Oh god.
Oh man, you know, I
got a visual of somebody shitting out some crap.
That's exactly where I went. I was only with me. It was Velveeta, and you know how it comes in a tube and you can squeeze it out. Like that's exactly what I was thinking.
You got a Play-Doh mold.
So
liquid gold.
I told you about that with Jay, when he ended up having when they had Zach, like before he was born. I remember sitting there and I was telling him, I'm like, dude, it's fucking when it comes time to change diapers, you're gonna be like, this sucks. And I go, and imagine this, okay? So
oh yes.
You're sitting there changing the kid's diaper, and then all of a sudden he starts to shit, and it looks like a fucking Play-Doh fun factory, and he's laughing and whatever. And so like a couple of weeks after he was born, Jay comes in, and he had this like fucking 1,000-yard stare on his face.
He'd seen some things, man.
He goes, yeah, you were right. I go, about what? He goes, I was changing Zach's diaper, and it was like a Play-Doh fun factory. I go, I know, I told you. Only it's not fun.
And then the last review on this one was a derailed mess.
But it didn't derail. So, this, as we kind of said, was based on an actual incident, which was the CSX 8888 incident, which they called the train Crazy Eights.
Yeah.
There was the Crazy Eights incident. It ran for almost 2 hours while toting 47 cars, of which 22 of them were loaded. The rest were empty, and also carrying hazardous chemicals. 2 of them were the molten phenol that they actually mention in the one in the movie. Only in the movie there were 8 cards of molten phenol.
Inflation ran rampant in this.
Yes. And apparently it did actually, the inciting incident is pretty much exactly what happened in this movie, where they were moving the train, and the guy saw a switch that was not thrown correctly, so he tried to set the brake in a certain way and got out of the train, and it turned out he didn't, and actually had set the throttle on and tried to get back on, and he apparently got dragged for like 80 feet. But but it was basically the same inciting event that happened in this movie as what happened in real life.
See, when I did a tiny bit of research or whatever, looking at the Ohio crash or derailment after this, and it's like, so one faulty bearing caused this? And I was like, well, I just watched Unstoppable, and I was led to believe that Scientologists caused this shit. Ethan Suplee.
No, it's a schooner.
You Easter Bunny isn't real. It's just a guy in a suit.
Oh, fucking A.
So you didn't do the categories on this, huh?
I did a couple of them.
I should have brought you another.
While you were talking.
I added another category.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, throw me it. What do you got?
Well, the new category would be: did another movie do it better?
Not really. This was basically this was basically
Runaway Train, never coming back.
no. It has nothing to do with Soul Asylum or the Missing Children. Which of course the song didn't have to do with missing children, but of course the video did. Anyway, I can't really think of a better version
that's what
of
I was
this.
thinking on this one.
But I also really can't think of a worse version of this because I can't really think of anywhere this.
Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the new one.
But that really wasn't. That was a hostage situation. Like that was.
Yeah.
That was.
Well, this is the best runaway train movie you'll ever see.
Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, I would say probably.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about that for other movies. You know.
Yeah.
What kind of prop would you want from this?
You know, I really don't know.
No.
No, I really don't.
I wanted Chris Pine's cell phone. that old school phone.
Band name. Chris Pine's cell phone. So we had a body count. We had a body count of 1, and I love it. At the end of the movie, they just completely gloss over like the whole thing that this guy fucking died.
Yeah.
Like it's these 2 heroes. And
Yeah. I
or
want to
actually 3 because the guy that jumped on the train, but or the guy that was driving alongside the train, but. At the end of the movie, it's just like, oh well, yeah, okay, just these 3 guys. Okay, what about the guy that literally just fucking died for this?
I was thinking about that when I just watched the ending or whatever, and you see Ethan Suplee like screaming, yeah, and then it's like, yay, I only killed 1 person.
Exactly, yeah. Now you only have 1 death on your conscience now.
And he was one of your buddies.
Mm-hmm. Christ. So times the train roars. I counted 13 that were definite. Like
yes.
Not just this isn't the groaning of metal. Like
Yeah.
This is a legitimate.
I love that after I sent you that, and then I look and I find there's a video online of all the roars and growls.
So, who do you think Gary Oldman played?
He works at Hooters. He's both the daughters.
I could see why you would think that, but he was actually the locomotive.
He was 777.
Yes, he was. Do you have any other?
He's tenacious. You
Tenacious D,
You may
Tom.
say unstoppable.
You motherfucker, go!
Fuck yeah. The riding spot on this one, I wanted to just bump jump like the derailers. Because they're like just like a quick little angle, and you can actually get some good pop off of those. So I say Chris Pine won the movie because after this he started being an action star. Basically, Star Trek was the year before this.
Yeah, I was gonna say Star Trek was 2009.
Yeah, now that I thought about that, I'm like, so overall Chris Pine won though. After like this era, he's like one of the number 1 male leads in.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
All right. So who did the worst acting?
I don't know. I kind of feel like probably one or both of the daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do a whole lot of acting.
No, they didn't. But I just for what they were in, they just like.
Yeah. I say T.J. Miller. I thought it was funny when I saw him performing or whatever, and he just kept saying, "I was in the Emoji Movie. I was meh." And the worst character?
I think this is worst as in like he's the worst person in the movie.
Yeah.
Would be the VP. Who? Fun fact: do you know where else we've seen him? Not in the show yet, but do you know where we've seen him?
Godzilla and like all sorts of things.
Specifically, he was
Oh, he was in Ghostbusters.
He was in Ghostbusters too. He is the psychic who predicted that the world was going to end at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Day. No, New Year's Day. The chick was Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. It may have been a ray, but he got me to his room. Your alien had a room at the Holiday Inn in Paramus.
I say Ethan Suplee there.
Yeah.
It's like he never gets to redeem himself. Like he kind of tries and then never gets to. So it's just. Oh, and at the same time, I thought of a recast for him. Mm-hmm. He could have been Brian O'Halloran. Halloran could have played the character, and he could have fallen down and said, "I'm not even supposed to be here today." And then at the very end, when they show like where they are now, or
then
whatever,
he gets shot.
No, that was the original.
I know. It was the original ending.
No, but at the end, they say the character works in fast food.
See, that's
Rosario Dawson.
I know. I tied the two of that. I tied that together too because I was like, hey.
No, he doesn't work fast food. He just gets his weed outside of fast food restaurants.
$15, little man.
Knock, 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 knock.
What kind of songbird Jesus freak did you bring me to?
Let's see here. Favorite quote? I had one, like originally, and he's like, "So how's Will doing? He's different." When he gets his foot crushed.
Yeah.
But then later, I totally forgot about the line when Rosario shows up. It's like, I was just wondering which of you I was going to kiss first.
Yeah.
And Denzel just goes, me?
Yeah.
He's just so matter of fact.
Well, that's settled.
My favorite scene was probably when the train roars and tells the guy to get off. And just smashes him.
Yeah. I don't know that I had a favorite scene.
Like the whole thing is it's like how Mad Max Fury Road was like one long chase scene, basically.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically this.
Yeah, that's fair.
But favorite supporting character?
I think I got to go with Rosario Dawson.
I concur, Doctor. I concur.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so nice in this.
She's just fucking great. She's always a pleasure to watch.
Let's see here. Hey, who should have died?
The fucking VP. Duh.
Ethan Suplee.
Ooh. You know what?
Oh god, now I'm just thinking of his character in American History X. Oh. How would there be a sequel?
Well, we've already lived it.
I just wrote down, well, real life.
Yeah, basically. Well, fucking, and you know what's in fairness, that wasn't even a runaway train. You want to get into a runaway train, you have the one in Lac-Mégantic back in 2013 that ended up destroying the whole fucking town because it caught fire. Do you remember that? Or
Wreck of the Old 97? What?
Basically, the guy left his train and apparently the railroad, the Central Maine, whatever the fuck it is,
The Fat Controller?
he the engineer, they've only been putting one guy on the trains, and so he had to do his rest stop. So he stopped it at a place just outside of the city or the town, set the brakes, but apparently didn't set all the brakes that he was supposed to. And he left the locomotive running, which apparently was their SOP. You leave it running, and it still has air.
You just left it in drive with the parking brake on, basically.
No, you leave it running. You have it in park. You have it running. You have the brake on, and all of the air is going to the air brakes. So it's all set, provided the locomotive continues to run. And apparently somebody shortly after he left, somebody drove by, saw it with sparks coming out of the exhaust. They called the fire department. Fire department came down to stop it. They shut the fucking engine off. And then of course the air bleeds out of the system, and then the brakes aren't set anymore. And it went going and went into Lac-Mégantic, derailed and killed, I think it was like 50-something people. Some of them, they never even found the bodies because they got vaporized completely.
Okay, that might be a better movie.
It was fucked.
I like a down ending.
It was fucked. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, that was an actual runaway train with hazmat, because it was a bunch of fucking tankers full of crude oil.
All right, so bathroom break time. I just wrote down in between explosions.
I just sat and watched. There was only really one explosion.
They had a couple random explosions, like when the brakes go or whatever.
Well, those weren't really explosions. I wouldn't really consider those explosions, but
Well, start the movie late or end it early. Start it 15 seconds, in, because after the inspired by true events pops up.
but how are you to know that it wasn't a real story then?
Any Razzies or Oscars?
I didn't. Nah.
I think 777 should have got Best Train Actor.
I would dispute that. Well, I mean, if it was for the year, maybe, but I gotta say the best train actor I've ever seen was Taylor May when she did her train video. But anyway,
I was wondering where you're going with that.
But anyway, that was like 2016, 2015, so it doesn't really count.
And any scene you'd want to be in?
I don't know. I would enjoy riding on the locomotive. I think like at some point.
I'd want to be at Hooters.
Of course you would.
All right, Hooters.
So
Okay, that's what I got. For
in the very
categories.
beginning of the thing, when they show
At the dawn of time,
when they show him like sitting outside of his ex's place, and like the kid just got sent to school or whatever. They're watching a Family Guy episode from season 7.
Oh, you looked that up, of course.
Well, because I recognized it. It was specifically Three Kings. I had to look up the date and everything, and the name. But yeah, it was Three Kings, which aired on the 10th of May 2009. And at first, I was thinking, well, wait a minute. The actual event took place in 2001. So if they're trying to do this back in 2001, that's not chronologically accurate. But it does actually take place in 2009. Because Denzel ends up saying, I've been doing this for 28 years since 1981. And okay, so
you had to decode all this.
it is actually accurate. Okay. But yes.
Verified.
Yes. I took away my
Eric verified.
I took away my scratch mark there. And of course, both of them are the bad husband / father cliche.
Denzel seems like he's supposed to be like a fairly good father.
Yes-ish, but like the reason I say that is because it was the whole thing when he calls the daughter. She's in the beginning. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about yesterday, and blah blah blah. Like they never even explain what the hell it was. But like it's just
would
I
have
don't
bogged
know.
down the movie.
Well, no, but what I'm saying, they didn't need to put it in to begin with.
That's what she said.
It's part of the same. It's part of the same cliche of the guy's always this or there's always.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I wrote down, bitch won't even talk to him. What a twat. That's not how you co-parent.
Well.
And so, what is he? Didn't they say something about a restraining order at the beginning?
Yes, there's an order of protection.
Order of protection.
Yes.
Which gets, at the end, they're like, never mind.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
I'm just going to hug you in public, violating the order.
Yeah. See, that's what they should have done, is that when they had the things at the end, he should have been divorced and in prison at that point, because she ended up having him arrested a month later for violating the order of protection, even though she's the one that did it.
Yes. Oh, that sounds par for the course in family court around here.
Yeah, basically.
And I did like the back and forth between Pine and then that guy who ends up dying.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't like working in a daycare.
No, I don't like working in an old folks' home.
And I'm like, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. That's good.
Yeah.
See, I like the way Denzel Washington plays smart with minimal condescension.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Whereas he knows his shit.
You see, that's one thing that, Like, I like that about him, but it would also be nice to see him in a role where he isn't one of those guys.
Yeah, where he doesn't know everything.
I've literally never seen him in one of those roles, ever. Because he's always been the guy that knows his shit. Always. Like, in Bone Collector or fucking...
was all the other Tony Todd movies? Or not Tony Todd, Tony Scott.
Oh, well, Bone Collector, fucking Courage Under Fire, Philadelphia even, kind of. Like, everything he's great. He's great in all those roles. But
he plays a strong character well.
But he's never one of the guys that, like, has to actually learn something other than, you could make the argument in Philadelphia, because he learns to not be a homophobic asshole. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him in another one of those roles, just because.
And then the part when they're, Chris Pine keeps fucking up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I wrote down, this is why they ban cell phones at my work.
Yeah.
See, cell phones caused all this.
Yes. Bad television is... Oh, wait. So the scene when...
movie we're supposed to...
The scene when they had the train full of kids go off onto the siding, right as it was showing, like, all I could think of was dude drifts his train around the other train.
Sick drift, sick train drift, bro.
Oh god, yeah.
When you saw the kids, I instantly know. I'm like, they ain't dying.
Of course not. There's no movie that has the balls to kill kids like that.
Not like that early in the movie.
No. Yeah, actually, okay, I take that back. There are movies that have the balls to kill kids like that.
But
only
not this one.
Not that early in the movie, and definitely not this kind of movie. Like the one with the ending that we always refer to as the best ending in horror.
Jeffrey DeMunn and that.
Yes.
Oh. All right, where is it? I love the back and forth when he's yelling to him and he's like, "Are you ready to pull out or what?" And Chris Pine just goes, "Coming." Yes. I have a dirty mind that is always in the gutter.
Yes.
See, this damn Scientologist didn't listen to me, and he got out of the cab.
Xenu's gonna be pissed.
Nice.
Now
we should have had Tom Cruise running next to the train.
Now I think he's screaming he loves Katie Holmes. Now I think that what's going to end up happening is he's going to be labeled as an SP.
Oh god, I haven't watched the fucking Scientologist documentary in a while. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
I just imagine Glass Onion. It's just dumb. And then I wrote down Chris Pine's character deserves the grief that he gets from Denzel.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking up on your job and you're being all cocky.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I kind of wanted Denzel to really rip into him at one point.
No, instead the train did.
Which I'm pretty sure his steel toes probably saved his foot.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at it, it's like,
yeah.
Odds are he had to have steel toes.
Yeah. And when Denzel, when that happens and he's telling him, no, don't take the boot off or whatever, that was one of those things hey, because when Bug cut his foot off, it was fine. There was nothing. There was no blood or anything. And as soon as he unlaced his boot, it just...
Niagara Falls.
Yes. Yeah.
Ew, I got a bad visual on that.
Yeah.
I don't do well with blood.
I don't work well with the blood because I used to have some.
I ain't no crip.
So the one thing though was when Ethan Suplee and the other dude are driving alongside the train and he's trying to jump on, and the guy's holding the truck door open effortlessly. I'm
while driving 70 miles an hour.
Come on. Well, at that time he wasn't going 70. At that time he was going I think they were supposed to be going about 50, 40 or 50. But I'm like, no. You're lucky to be able to hold your door open going 20.
Air Force is against you.
Oh yeah, and no.
But when Supply's like they're trying to catch the train and everything, and there's this whole crowd just standing
Yes.
there, oh, there's a runaway train that's gonna happen if he falls. Oh,
Yeah.
he fell. Let's laugh.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Fucking idiots.
That's why I had to do the video. It's funny because he's fat.
Fun fact, though, Rosario Dawson is actually a train aficionado in real life. Yeah.
I don't mean to toot
sorry.
my own horn, but
That was me doing that was me starting into the DMX version of Thomas Gonna Give It To You.
oh, I watched so many Thomas videos trying to figure out something I could mash it up with, and I ended up finding that perfect clip with the helicopter.
So,
But then I kind of wanted to do one with the fat controller with the guy from Ghostbusters 2.
so you've seen the or you've heard Thomas Gonna Give It To You, right?
I think so.
The DMX mashup with the theme song from Thomas. And it's just all it is the vocals from X Gonna Give It To You, but to the Thomas theme, and actually works really well. But anyway, I had put that on my, I had ripped the audio from that video, and I put it into my playlist that I have playing broadcast at work.
Nice.
So at random, you'll all of a sudden hear, yeah, like all this fuck. Don't get it twisted. And then it just full out goes into the Thomas theme. So that'll be broadcast over the radio at work.
So since they banned music at fucking work, like
Why would they ban a Tragically Hip album?
Oh, terrible. An iffy Madonna song. Music.
No. Music at Work was a T-Hip album. That's why I was.
Oh, I went a different way.
I know you did.
I can go my own way.
Okay. Tell me why everything turned around.
So now I forgot what I was talking about.
Shacking up, packing up's all you want to do.
Okay, so they ban music at work. So
Yeah.
every once in a while we'll break into music. Like we'll start singing random shit. None of us can really sing. But then at one point, like one guy's, I'm gonna get all the annoying songs stuck in everybody's head or whatever. So he started doing Christmas songs. He's like, the worst one, Feliz Navidad.
Oh God, I thought he was gonna go with fucking the Band-Aid, fucking. Oh, there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas.
He started doing Christmas songs, and I just go, come on, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What? You ever watch that one?
No,
DMX doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed
No.
Reindeer.
no.
I started doing that.
Lori getting the song that never ends stuck in our heads at Burger King.
I did that a few times. I said, this is a song that never ends. I'm like, I don't know if I want to start it because it'll just get stuck in my head.
Why? Because some people started singing it not knowing what it was,
Zip it.
and they'll continue singing it forever just because.
Do the fucking Stewie with the surfing bird.
Yes. So also apparently for this movie, to get back on track, like a train, like a train in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, crew members apparently called this movie The Taking of Pelham 456 because it was the second Tony Scott movie with Denzel, and it was a year after Pelham 123.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's something I don't think I would have really, like, if I were working on the movie, I don't think I would have caught that and thought of that. So that's actually pretty fucking ingenious.
Well, I was just, after doing the show the other day, I was thinking, I'm watching all these giant scenes with a train, and like they have all the extras like driving around it and all the fucking helicopters and shit. Imagine having to do a reset on one of those shots.
Yeah, that would
Having
suck.
to reset a fucking train.
That would suck.
It was bad enough when I was doing the Escape of Dannemora and they had the long ass driving scene.
Long ass driving.
I think like we got like maybe 5 takes of it in like 6 hours. But
And by the way, I just realized what I want to do for our next movie.
Oh, okay then. Save it, baby.
I am.
Leave us with All right.
Say it.
But like when she's like mad at Ethan Suplee in this, I'd be like,
Yes.
I don't want Rosario mad at me.
I mean, that could be kind of hot too, though.
Oh yeah. I have a sad boner right now.
Yes.
Fear boner.
Ooh.
And then Kevin Corrigan seems like kind of like out of place in this.
A little bit, but
I always like, he is a good character actor.
he is, and it was funny because when I saw this, I had just watched 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. I just watched another movie that he just randomly showed up in.
Yeah, he does that. He'll just randomly show up.
It was Lost Girls, which was about the Long Island serial killer. And yeah, he just out of nowhere shows up as this one guy who like lives on the island and is trying to help one of the mothers like get information about the guy that he believes is the killer.
A wild Kevin Corrigan appears.
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, what the fuck?
That was like me last night. It's like watching that Quick Change movie or whatever. And it's like all of a sudden a wild Stanley Tucci appears.
Yeah, there's so many guys in that movie that I didn't remember were in it.
Fucking Red Foreman's in there.
It's been forever since, like I said, it's been forever since I watched
Smith.
it. It's got to be at least 10 years.
It was a good one. That's definitely a good movie.
And I was like I had said when you had mentioned it, I remember watching that when I was a little kid, even, and then I remember getting like I watched it back very early 80s or early 90s or late 80s.
I was gonna say it came out in 90.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like 88. Okay, so I would have watched it in the very early 90s, and then I had basically forgotten about it. And in probably 98 or so, Channel 27 actually had it on, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot about this movie.
27 or UPN?
It eventually, yes, but not at that time. Eventually, it became.
I totally
the
forgot
UPN.
about UPN.
Yeah.
I was watching videos on canceled TV shows.
Open. Yeah, I'm open. I remember those. Yeah, it was weird because I thought of those I thought of that out of nowhere, probably 3 months ago or so, and I was looking up UPN just because.
Yeah.
Like I started looking it up to see
It's
what
like
the
you
fuck.
kind of forget about these things.
I never really watched any of the shows on there because there was never anything that I was really
I don't
I thought was that
specifically remember
good.
much. But here that other guy, Lou Temple.
Yep.
He's like the guy who's driving the truck in that last scene or whatever.
the welder.
And he's forever that character from Devil's Rejects for me.
Yeah.
The guy that pukes.
Yep. Yep. No, that's
Like every time I see him, that's all I can think of.
That's why I recognized him. I was like, I know him from somewhere, but I didn't bother looking it up. Yep.
No, that's between me and my brother, we know everything. That's the one I looked up.
Yeah. 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 The guy that they end up putting on the rope to send out of the chopper.
Yeah.
One thing it was like they keep calling him Marine so and so like okay
Yeah, I know. I was like, huh?
He's not a fucking current. The guy. He's a fucking. He works for the railroad or whatever. He's not a Marine now. Why the fuck are you continuing to refer to him as Marine? You don't do that with like a soldier or a sailor or anybody else.
Right now, he's just a guy dangling above a train.
But that guy apparently. In real life, he was in the 101st Airborne, and actually he served in Iraq and stuff. But then he became an actor after, kind of like Adam Driver.
Yeah.
Became an actor after. He hasn't done anything like big like Adam Driver has, but.
Well, yeah, like I was thinking about that when you're hanging out all day or whatever with a bunch of extras, and everybody chats you up and shit, and it's like such a weird like. Array of people that ended up as the extras, and then it's like you were making me think of there was a retired trooper or whatever, and it's like there's this one guy where he's just a janitor at a grade school, and then this guy is fucking a retired cop bragging about all the money he made in real estate.
It's free real estate.
Why don't we take the Krusty Krab and put it over here? But yeah, it's like, and then when I was on Escape from Dannemora, there was retired guards there.
Unsurprising.
So it was, it's something they can do. That's something I want to do when I retire.
Yeah.
I want to be an old guy in movies.
They're guards.
Yeah, we're guards. I was a guard. So I just wrote down T.J. Miller is not an action star.
No. Now, did you notice there was one that is very obvious in this movie? So when I don't remember exactly what it was. Oh, I think it was when they're watching and they find out that the train, like the brakes hadn't been set or something. I don't remember what it was. Like it was beyond where they expected it to be.
Yeah.
And the VP was watching it and he's like, I gotta find out on the goddamn news. But he doesn't say goddamn. He just says, we gotta find out on the damn news. So there's a very noticeable pause there. It's because they cut the word God out. Because they apparently cut out...
It is 777 train.
Well, no, they cut out 2 goddams and 1 fucking to give it a PG-13. So that was one of the goddams that they cut out.
I don't see why any, like... You're allowed to have like 1 F-bomb and there's
you're
like
allowed,
not much else.
You're
R-rated.
allowed to have 1 provided it's not in a context of actual sex.
Yes,
but
it can be an explicative saying fucking.
But I believe they used one in another spot. Is why. But
terrible.
yeah, so they cut out 2 goddams and a fucking to fucking and actually those was the one that they cut the fucking that they cut out was I think it was when Denzel was talking about him constantly fucking things up or something. They changed the line to screwing things up.
Yeah. He jacked a little baby. The fucking when they couldn't say raped.
They found him underneath a train.
But when he says, we got to learn about it on TV, I wrote down he'd be excellent at Cinema Sins.
You know, and the other thing that... Did you notice that they immediately tell you who it was in the train on the reporting?
Yeah.
Like they immediately tell you that it was so-and-so that just died on national TV. And it's like... There's a reason why they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, really.
And do you know what it is, actually?
Well, you got to tell the family.
But do you know what specific incident ended up causing that?
I don't remember.
That was actually when Buddy Holly was killed. Because Buddy Holly's wife and his family back in Texas, his wife in New York and his family in Texas, both found out that he had died by radio broadcasts or TV broadcasts before authorities had even tried to contact them. Mm-hmm. So Holly's wife ended up miscarrying, and but that ended up changing. That's why they hold that information for a short time.
Say we got to alert the family.
Exactly,
because that would be the more important thing. But I love the cliche in this. He's 18 days away from retirement.
Oh, yeah, God.
You already fired
yes. me. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fire me? What are you going to do? You going to make me work for you?
I liked his line later when he's like, don't get sentimental on me. Makes me think I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Another thing too, actually, to cover the related to what I was just talking about. They actually used, I don't know if they all were, but the majority apparently were all actual reporters, like actual local reporters that they used for it works because there's sometimes when you watch a movie and it's just very obvious that this person that's doing a newscast is a fucking actor.
I love the guy in Crank. The guy doing the newscasting. And
I can't remember.
He just looks up at one point. Oh my God.
I can't remember. It's been forever since I watched it.
That fucking fake newscaster character was great.
And so the scene when they end up, speaking of the guy dying, when the locomotive ends up derailing and then exploding and everything, and they've got the Huey flying right there. I'm like, oh fuck! It's a good thing that Landis wasn't involved in this movie.
I was waiting for it
because that was a Huey and an explosion.
And then I just think of that meme with the dog just staring into nothing.
Oh,
dead-eyed stare.
Fuck yeah! That's yes.
But Rosario's face when Chris Pine says, I was just starting to like this job. Her face when she's just, that shit-eating grin was so good.
So, one thing that bothered me, and of course you have to, they had to come up with something to justify the whole backstory thing with Chris Pine's wife and him. Okay, so the whole "who are you texting? No one" thing. Why the fucking secrecy? If it were, you're talking to your sister, apparently. Like, she was talking to her sister, I guess. Yeah. And he immediately takes it as she's talking to this guy, that whatever, blah, 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 blah. But he finds out that he was talking to her. Okay, well, if you're sitting there, you're talking to somebody, and it's, you're texting somebody, and it's like, they ask, who are you talking to? And you're just, oh, no one. And then they just keep,
that's...
Really? Like,
that's instantly the doubt meme.
Exactly. You're like, why even bother? Like that just it's
like
a lazy
game sort of thing.
It's a fucking lazy, like, I thought it was a lazy way of putting the conflict in that made neither of them the bad guy.
Yeah.
But like gave her the reason to, oh shit, well, he's a fucking psychopath. Well,
Well, in general, I've learned not to ask who you're messaging overall, like asking your significant other that or whatever. Because
you never want to know the answer.
I don't need to know. I'm supposed to trust this person. I'm supposed to trust this person, and I'm gonna act like that until.
See, I think
they are untrustworthy.
I think the scenario that it would make sense is, like, if you see that they're talking to somebody, or they're laughing at something or whatever, asking, like, what's up, or who is it, or whatever, like something like that makes sense. But that's where I'm kind of going, like, not that they're sitting there and they're just constantly, oh, who are you talking to, yeah. But like in a situation where, like, they're being, like, weird, and it's like, okay,
yeah, I want to know what's up. What is making you jovial?
Yes. Why are you showing these pictures of your boobs to this person on the internet? Why are you sending tit pics to your sister? So it turns out that the wife's actually cheating with her sister, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
I think I watched that porn.
I have. Now some fun for both of us.
I love when Denzel asks him to take the vest off.
Oh, yeah.
You're freaking me out.
And then, so the scene where they had the cops shooting at the train.
Yes.
Okay, this is the worst. Okay, for one, these idiots are firing 5.56 at a button like it's going to trip it, and not just destroy the fucking thing.
Button.
Okay, that part two of that.
Maybe some beanbags would work?
Now, beanbag rounds would make sense. Now, I just thought that was, movie stupidity. They actually did that during the fucking real Crazy 8's incident. They had cops shooting at the fucking train to try to hit the button, and they stopped because they were hitting the fuel tank. And apparently
that could have been inspired by true events. They
and apparently
brought that extreme.
Apparently I don't know who came up with the idea, but it clearly wasn't anybody related to the railroad, because you're actually, for that button to actually work, it has to be held down for several seconds, because what it does is cut off the fuel supply, and then the engine runs out of fuel and it stops. So it's not even like you just push the button and it's done. You have to hold it down.
You need to, like, hock a loogie on that thing or something.
It's like when your computer freezes and you have to hold the button.
Oh, hit the reset button.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, my screen is flashing.
It's like when, when he's about to be heroic and everything, and it's like, now she tries to call him.
Of course. And when he was walking, out there to go couple the car, and I'm sorry, no, you're not walking against a 70-mile headwind. Like, you have never fucking experienced that kind of wind, if that's the case, because no, you're not walking upright in that. You are walking at like a 45-degree angle, and you're not just walking at a steady pace. You're fucking fighting it.
I've been on the top of a mountain in a fucking fire tower when it's probably doing about 70.
When we lost the fucking when I lost the roof at my apartment in Champlain, that day that we had that massive fucking windstorm where there were like gusts up to 90 and a constant wind of like 60. Yeah, I remember walking down 11, and literally having to walk at like a 45 degree angle to the ground just to be able to stay upright.
That's how it be.
Yeah. And apparently in real life, when they linked up, they were actually only going 25 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and then when
that was the thing where I read that like right after I watched it the first time.
When the guy boarded, they were actually going 11.
I was like, oh, ruined.
And he didn't even jump off it. He didn't jump off. He actually ran alongside it and jumped onto it.
Oh, hey.
And then the last one of my notes that I've got, when she calls him at the end, and he opens the phone and it's got her picture on there. It's literally a picture of her in the clothes she's wearing right now on scene. I'm like, that is the laziest fucking thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, they had to be careful, when they hooked up. He ended up blowing the load as soon as he hooked up. Wasted.
Oh. Yeah.
This is a movie of people watching TV.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of shots.
That's pretty accurate.
If you think about the percentage of shots.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
It's like Apollo 13, with the
news position.
Houston and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody just watching TV. And when they do I couldn't find a good clip of the speed bus going up on two wheels or whatever, not two wheels, but
yeah.
I was gonna mash that up with the curve scene here, but I couldn't find it on YouTube, and I'm not gonna download the whole Speed movie for that clip.
So when they got to that scene, I was thinking one thing, and I was like, it is actually pretty fucking terrifying when you're in something that suddenly goes on to two wheels like that and you're not expecting it. Because I did that at World with the Drexel.
Yeah. Oh, with the Drexel.
With the Drexel. Because
that's not a small one.
No, it was like 18,000 pounds. And this fucking thing went on two wheels. And it was because receiving had gotten in a bunch of the hardware for mounting. And they were making pallets that were like this fucking tall. A solid pallet, 4x4, that was about this fucking tall. You figure full of little screws and bolts. So it's literally just like a solid block of fucking metal that's those dimensions. And they gave me a location in like 12.2. So I'm putting it up, and the whole time the hydraulics are fighting. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I get it turned, and I get it into the location, and then I tilted so that I could put it on the back rail, and the whole fucking thing just went whoop-ah! And I was like, I got it down, I took the forks out, I went back up there, and I said, don't ever fucking do that again. Why? Because it's way too fucking heavy to go up. If you're going to do it at least half that fucking size, if not less.
Smart.
Yeah. That would have been fucking awful, because of course I never wore a belt in that. And of course I would have been one of those videos, if they had, I don't even know if they had videos there, but flipping a fucking forklift on its side like the beginning of the Flintstones.
And then all the racking goes dominoes style.
Exactly. And of course I would have been just in the middle of all that. Yeah, all I could think of though is the beginning of the Flintstones when they put the ribs on the car and it just flips over.
Fair enough. Courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
Wilmer!
And then after watching fucking Quick Change, I'm imagining, they've cordoned off an area around the curve or whatever, and now I'm imagining like hot dog stand guys running to the scene.
I'd forgotten about that until you mentioned it.
That made me laugh in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like a very anti-New York movie.
Yes, it is. It really is.
But that was dirty old New York.
Yeah. I loved the fucking, like, and I mentioned it when you were talking about it, the scene where they're in the vault and the yuppie's trying to like buy his way out with the like the $12,000 watch, and he's alligator skin and blah 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 blah, and it appreciates more and more every day. And he's like, oh man, I can't. That's I gotta give you some here. I'll give you my Timex for it here with the Twist Flex band. I appreciate this thing more and more every day.
I was waiting when he's like, well, is anybody else willing to pay more than $300?
Yeah.
I was waiting for some guy to be like, I got 400.
Yeah. Now the other, what the fuck was the other? There was another one of those bits in the fucking in the vault that had really fucking got me when I watched it, and I can't remember what it is now, but it was a great line. But probably his best line in that movie is when the guy's like, "What kind of a clown are you?" Crying on the inside kind, I guess.
Yeah, just not so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
It's something that only Bill Murray could do.
Yeah, no, I don't think that role could have been played by anybody as well as it was by him. And it's one of those movies that so few people know.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. I was just scrolling through Tubi, and I was like, I watched the trailer, and I'm like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I wasn't even watching the trailer. I just hovered over it for a little bit, and
it started auto-playing?
It started auto-playing, like, when he gets into the bank.
Yeah. It's a
And I was
robbery, and nobody listens to him.
It was just, no, when he's like, when he puts his foot in the way, and then he pulls the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can't get behind this.
Gina Davis was really good in it, too. I liked her. I liked her in that. Jason Robards.
A lot of good actors in that.
Yeah, there were.
But I was watching the scene when they're going up on two wheels or whatever around the curve, and I'm like, that's when I got like a shopping cart full of shit or whatever, and I'm going around real fast and I'm bored.
Or you do the shopping cart drift.
Yes, exactly. I watched enough Jackass. And I was like, watching this, I'm like, the news is really fast with those animations that they're making.
I know, right? It's like they were already planning on this.
Oh. Hashtag woke.
777 was an inside job.
Ethan Suplee. We need to investigate him. It's the Scientologist, I swear.
Oh. L. Ron. Where the fuck was L. Ron Hubbard during this? Oh,
I think he's dead.
Yeah, he's been dead since like 1990 or something.
It was like 90 or something like that. And I totally forgot about the line when, was it Lou, whatever his name is, Lou Temple, he says, "Do it, pussy!"
Yes. His lines were fucking great. A lot of his lines were fucking great.
And then I thought of another video I could have made after when the cops like jump across the fucking tracks and they get into a wreck and shit. And I could have just merged that with the fucking Blues Brothers.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I watched it. The other part now, did you notice when they do so there was the horse trailer scene.
Yes, I wrote down, not the horsies.
So the horse trailer scene, of course, when they end up showing the footage of it on the newscast, did you notice that there was no one around the track?
No, yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
obviously they can't have actors around that.
Well, you could have at least green screened them in or something. But yeah, no, there was no one around the track when they ended up running into it. Even though when it actually happened, like there's
all those cars,
people right there, and there's the guy that just got the horse off the fucking rails, like right before it and shit. Yeah, but when they show the angle of it happening later, then there's just the...
Yeah, but I've watched this maybe like 5 times. I've never caught that.
I noticed it like immediately. But, weaponized autism.
Oh, nuclear.
Nuclear.
Well, I wrote down, was it injured white men can jump, apparently?
Yeah, I know, right?
He's got a smashed foot. And
no. I mean, no.
And then at that point or whatever, it's like they say, "Oh no, he's running out of parallel road," but then there's parallel road all the way up until they stop.
Yeah.
That one was one I didn't catch until after.
And one thing that I thought was, because like I don't think before I watched it, or before I worked at Peterbilt, I don't think I would have caught, or I don't think I would have really got this, but the truck that Supley and what's his face are in the beginning, that truck that's like alongside on them, that's actually on rails. And because I didn't realize they had those until I started working at Pete, because we would get the trucks in that have the setups that they drop down and all that shit. Those things chew up tires too, and they chew them up in a weird way because of course they're riding on the rails.
Yeah, I've seen them in use before.
Yeah, and then looking at like old looking at old pictures of old ones from like the 40s and shit. Like you see like an old Packard highway clipper, and it's literally just on rails, like on the trucks.
They just get some sort of way to lock it on there.
No, they took the wheels off, and they just literally just
on
like
rims?
Well, not on rims, but on actual like rail wheels. Just like in when they do the DeLorean in Back to the Future 3 on the rails. Like that kind of thing, where it's literally riding on the rails. But yeah, it's weird seeing those old cars like that.
I love the Denzel Washington King of the World part.
Yes, I know. I was thinking the same thing.
He's like, yeah.
You could have gotten that. You could have gotten that into one of the videos.
I'm the King of the World. What was it? I don't know.
I can see Scranton in the distance. Very small, of course.
I wrote down, the daughters show up to that like ceremony sort of thing out of nowhere. At the end, I'm like, oh, the Gary Oldmans are here. And that's about all I got on this one.
Gary's Oldmans. Whoa.
Would old man or old men?
Ooh, No Country for Old Men. Here you go. There's a movie to recast. No Country for Old Men, and literally every role in it is played by Gary Oldman.
Yes. Okay, I can get behind this. We need to start Kickstarter.
I would actually watch that movie. I would watch that movie.
Just call it Gary Oldman.
No Country for Gary Oldman.
Oh.
And I'm torn between it wanting him to play it completely straight, where like literally every role is just him, like normally, and not in makeup or anything, like literally just him.
Or do you want him to do a multiplicity version?
Or do I want that's what I'm saying, like that, where it's literally just him doing like all the different roles, or if I want him to actually be in character as each different person and like in makeup and shit. I'm torn between which would be better.
Well,
entertainment value I think would be better if it's all just him. Like he's just acting against himself in
imagine how long that would take to film.
Oh man, it would be forever.
All right, that's something I need to do now.
What, you gonna make a Gary Oldman movie?
No, like what's that Tom Grossi guy on YouTube or whatever? He does like one man like videos where he plays like different characters and everything. And I'm like, I could do that.
Did he go to Degrassi Junior High? I hate myself. I hate myself. I never watched that show. Except for like one or two episodes that I think they had us watch in school.
I think I watched the Jay and Silent Bob episodes.
Yeah, I never watched.
And that was about it.
I never watched, because there was Degrassi Junior High and there was Degrassi High. And I remember Degrassi Junior High, like we watched a couple of episodes of that in junior high at school for some reason. I don't remember anything about them except for the fucking, like I remember a bit of the theme song. That's it.
Oh, those poor little Canadians.
Yeah. Wasn't Alanis Morissette on that show?
I don't know.
Or am I thinking of? I know she was, because I know she was on. You Can't Do That on Television. But maybe I'm thinking, maybe it wasn't Alanis Morissette. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, I don't remember all the people that were on that.
I don't know.
All right, then. So I believe you said something about what you want to do next week?
I know what I want to do next week. And
that's a movie.
I know what you did last weekend. No, the next movie that I want to do also features a runaway train.
Oh, God.
Only it's on fire.
No.
You know what it is?
Negative.
We saw it in a theater.
Oh?
Yeah.
What, Mission Impossible?
Nope. He is in that though.
Who? What?
Tom Cruise is in that.
Oh.
He was
War of
going
the
down the
Worlds.
grade, making not. Yes.
War of the Worlds.
Yes. War of the Worlds from
Oh god, that's
2004.
a heart movie for me. I've been meaning to watch it lately.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a while, and I'm due a rewatch.
I saw it twice in the theater. Tim Robbins.
Yeah. No, that's definitely it's been a while
Will
for
that
me.
be
So,
will that be our first Spielberg?
I believe so. I could be wrong.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's our first Tom Cruise movie too,
Wow.
and it's our first Dakota Fanning movie.
And then I'm just thinking, I'm like,
that.
no, I want to do Tropic Thunder.
We have to do Tropic Thunder at some point
Yes, we do.
because that movie is a fucking national treasure. Oh, like National Treasure.
I'm gonna steal the national treasure.
I'm gonna
Oh goodness.
steal Tug Speedman's TiVo.
They had it backwards. It was Vito. Dyslexic.
That wasn't. That isn't backwards. If anything, it would be Ovid then.
It would be like an anagram, whatever.
Yeah, it would be an anagram.
Analgram?
Candygram.
Nah. I like Lana backwards. Come on. Alright, so next week we'll be doing War of the Worlds, which I saw in the movie theater twice because I love it. And then I have it's like a guilty pleasure thing for me, you know, like with 2012, where it's like you follow a family just barely getting away from all these like crazy events just so you can show the crazy events.
Yeah. And actually, I just got the 5 Final Destination movies too. So we might end up at some point doing one of those.
Well, the second one's the best.
I don't know about that. The third one was pretty good because it's got the pick lift in it.
Oh yeah. I like how that's like. I was watching a video on it. It's like, well, he had to learn how to drive it and act at the same time. I'm like, pussy.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving and acting at the same time too.
I have video of you driving and acting, giving me the finger as
Exactly.
you're driving by.
Driving and acting and having nervous breakdowns while driving on the forklift.
Me, honk if you're horny. And I start humping it.
Fucking Caleb, when he would drive along playing Jingle Bells on the horn, but it's literally just the same note over and over again.
Well,
No,
I
you're
did a
changing.
different tone.
Yes. And I used to do Super Mario and do the na 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 na. It was always the same fucking the same note.
See, that one guy, he basically got fired for it, but he figured out how to play Funky Town on the PA at work.
Oh God.
So he started.
So he's towely.
Yes.
He literally was
And,
towely.
He looked like he was
Stoned?
sniffing towely. He was the guy who said, you know, you can just walk out of Target with a cart full of shit.
Nobody will stop you.
It's like, yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
You know, you can go to the park and take home the ducks. Like, nobody's going to stop you. I have 437 ducks at home.
That's quackers.